Hello, gorgeous people, and welcome to another TV Central One-on-One podcast. I'm Aaron Ryan. This is episode 12, 2023, and the 8th of the Australian Survivor Elimination episodes, although this is the 11th elimination overall. There are often blindsides and backstabbing, but occasionally an alliance is a strong alliance, and there is the thought that loyalty will win out. Stevie did everything right, and his loyalty to George was unwavering. The question now is, was that naive? King George did not get his own way this time, wanting to remove Flick from the game, but with pressure from Liz and Shonny and a threat to play an idol, he decided to vote Stevie out instead of going with Matt. Stevie is the 11th person eliminated from Australian Survivor. Stevie, thank you for joining me at TV Central.
Thank you for having me. Yes, well, that's a good intro.
Well, you were loyal. You did show an unwavering support for George and the Alliance. You seemed to do everything that was needed to secure your position in the game.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, did you see any cracks in the Alliance that might have led you to this shaky ground?
Well, it's actually one of those unexplainable moments when somebody make a decision that is not quite right. You know, like because they're under duress. You see what I'm saying? I mean, George should have done better, and I've known he's an excellent strategist, really good. On the tactical front, he's almost on par with his strategic thinking. Yet, when under pressure here, under the threat of an idol being played, to say Flick, which is really, and in George's mind, he would think of it as a waste of a communal idol, right? They had to think differently. And also to stamp his authority as the head of the snake, so to speak. When the girls wants Flick to stay on board, but to cast out Matt, George needs to think of someone else other than Matt. And he just think of just me for some reason. But for no reason in actuality. You just got to think of an alternative solution that would be agreeable by all parties. There is by the bunny, me, and that's how that's how I see it.
You did seem super surprised, maybe annoyed, and certainly felt let down. I know it's a television show and it's a game, but there are emotions involved too, and friendships and alliances and loyalty.
Yes.
Did you actually feel let down?
Oh, mate. You know, it's utter, deep, profound disappointment. It really was. I mean, it's totally unexpected. It's not even a classic blindside when you already know you're on a chopping block before you walk to the tribal council. This one here, it was just spur of the moment decision. Oh my goodness, the girls is sticking to their gun. What are we going to do? I think we'll have to try something different. You know, like just change your plan altogether. That's not even discussed. That's not even thought through. What's the consequence after this? What's the consequence after merge? You know, and also the teamwork aspect, like, well, what has Stevie done to contribute to our alliance, to our camp, and all that? None of that been spelled out or thought through. And so because of what happened, I guess someone had to get out, and it just happened to be me. So that's why I was so disappointed. You know, why me? I mean, the most obvious answer would be Matt. He's untested in our alliance. The way, as you said correctly, I've been with them since that epic tribal council, with, you know, where Simon and Geordie's agenda were clearly exposed.
One of the main purposes of removing you instead of Matt seems to be that George believes that Matt is more valuable to him than you when merge happens. Perhaps because he thinks that Matt has more friends that he can then bring into the alliance. Do you think that might be a reason, or would that be valid?
No, not at all, because I talked about this with George incessantly leading up to that tribal council. the overwhelming accord was that we got to get Flick out. She is such a huge threat to all of us because of a relationship with the Meat Boys, right? And we figure out Matt isn't that strong with the guys as strong as Flick. So we need to get the bigger threat, and that's Flick, not Matt. And secondly,
Yeah.
the reason why I kind of sensed the reason why my name was called out is because George needs to stamp his authority as the leader of the gang. That if the girls say it's Matt to go out and Flick to stay, George needs to think of another name different than Matt, right? And who else is the choose, Jerry or Steve? Now, Stevie just happened to be busy talking to JLP, answering his question. So obviously, George, when I dissect this scenario, George had to talk to Jerry about it. At the same time, I was thinking, okay, they're probably talking about whether it's Matt or Flick rather than me, literally. I mean, you don't expect that, right? You're supposed to be in the same team. And the point of no return when I figure it out is when they stopped talking with each other and George went to the girls, but he didn't come to me. So I was left out. When you left out, that's it. You know you're it. Yeah, and nothing you can do about it. You cannot mount a defense at all when it happened at that very particular moment. When like Flick just touched your mind an hour before tribal council when we were still in base camp. Flick knows, she can feel she's on the chopping block because people treat her differently, right? I would know the same thing, but I don't feel that way at all because we were resolute to get rid of Flick. We all in unison, even though the girls disagree in some way. But I thought George had them under management. You know, we're going that way. But anyway, the rest is history.
Do you think well, it seems that there's definitely some cracks now within the what they call the spy girls. Do you think George is now in real trouble, or do you think he'll do what he does best and just worm his way along and in the game and remain on top?
No, he cannot stay on with the rest of the Spice Girls. Maybe with Jerry. Jerry still need a bit of a shield, right? It's obvious that the crack has widened with my dismissal. George will have to find other alliances. I can feel it. He knows it too, and he's probably going to work on Matt and Haley in particular to get the rest of the people from the other side. I think his days with Spice Girls are over because of what happened. Because the trust is broken completely. Don't you agree, Aaron?
Oh, I definitely agree. I think one of the concerns with George is that George is George, but once he gets you on your side, you are loyal, you are safe. But this is showing now that, I mean, you were very, very loyal, and you were gone. So now it seems to be that it doesn't matter how close you are to George, if you don't assist him somehow in his game, you could be voted out now. So I think that's probably a real concern for George now.
It is. 100%. I'm with you on that one. You nailed you nailed on the head. Truly, George. Despite all his rhetoric, now you know who you can trust, Stevie, or we're strong when we are together. After all, he's a political operative, right? Do you trust politicians, Aaron? Do you trust politicians?
Absolutely. Hey, it seems that the whole alliance thing is based on the OG villains versus the OG heroes. Do you think that's actually the case? Because it seems to me that it's turning into the good old-fashioned girls versus boys.
Exactly so, which I was trying to avoid completely. But I couldn't. No one can manage that. It's just the way how it morphs. It's an amazing human dynamics. I do. One of my passion is I'm an amateur anthropologist, so I like watching people basically and culture and behavior. And this is something that I felt is dangerous, especially when you have all the muscles on one side, and on the other side it's kind of like an alliance based on trust that is still developing, not completely cemented. And yeah, it's built up for disaster, but at the same time, it's built up for amazing drama to be had. Once all the players are in place, and wow, bigger than Dallas, more drama. I can tell you, I can feel it. This is how it happened. This is the turning point. This point when suddenly someone like me, who purportedly to be a very loyal character and trying to do the right thing, and to be tossed out like that, who can you trust? Is your life safe? Will you be snuffed? When the news comes out in the morning and the next challenge that Steve is gone, yeah, I can feel it. It's going to be an amazing journey for all of them, those who remains.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're now over the halfway mark this season. So let me ask you this question. Just purely from a betting perspective, who do you think is likely to win Australian Survivor? But then let me also ask you who you would like to win Australian Survivor.
Right. Good question. I'm going to put up my speculative crystal ball on this one. Well, the way how it developed, it seems that the returnees are about to turn on each other, because they're so intense on one another. It just become a natural progression to try to vote each other out. The meat trays in particular, they're going to cannibalize each other, because there's just too much muscles there, too much testosterone, and there's too many alpha males. You only need one, but this is what happened. I'm banking on the newbies, because when the returnees are so busy killing each other, the newbies will rise of the ashes, and so you're looking at who's left on the newbie side. You got Matt, Jerry, Liz, and that's it, isn't it? Wow. Oh, David Takara, who was, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So one of them will rise, will be there, and I'm banking on Jerry, simply because not that because I get on well with him, that comes after. He's been a true blue survivor since day one.
Yeah.
He's struggling at the bottom since day one, and he knew they were having a go at him. He knew from the very beginning, and he wasn't really strong enough to do anything about it, except just self-defense. Stay out of trouble as much as possible. When he took out his best mate, Shani, that's it. Something clicked in his mind. I can see it.
Yeah.
And he's seeking for remedy from that point forward. So that will drive him on to the very top, I would say. And he's an old codger. Yeah, he's got a lot of old war injuries and all that stuff. But I sense his mental strength is far beyond what you would have expected. And his vast experience, like he's 64-year-old, he's 2 years older than me. I'm 2 years young, right? But he's 2 years older than me. And I'm just amazed at his fortitude and his capability and his resoluteness in just doing it and to stay alive. Jerry is my bet.
There we go. Well, can I finally just ask you, we don't want to live a life of regrets, but do you have any regrets at all? Are you kicking yourself for trusting George, or do you think that you played the game the best you could?
All my life, I just do things without regret. So I have disappointment, but no regret. I would play the same way as before. I would treat people the same way as before. No, mate, no regrets at all. Just the fact that I had such a wonderful time, a fun time. I had a blast. You can see in my face, in everything I do there, from the challenge to doing things around the tribe camp. It was just such a huge privilege to be part of Australian Survivor, and twice. How about that? Huh? Yeah.
Oh, Well, I can tell you from a viewer point of view that it is disappointing when someone gets voted off and nothing that they've actually done.
Understandable.
They're literally just caught in the crossfire of
Yep.
other people's egos or arguments or strategies.
Mm.
We both didn't see this one coming, but hold your head up high. You did play a great game. And Stevie, thank you for joining me and having a chat today here at TV Central.
Oh, look, thank you. It's a wonderful chat to have with you, and thank you for having me. I do enjoy our little sojourn here. Have a great day.
Well, thank you. You're so welcome. Stevie, 11th eliminated from Australian Survivor. Australian Survivor, 7:30 Sunday, Monday and Tuesday on 10 and 10 Play. TV Central will be talking to almost every eliminated contestant. There will be a podcast available around lunchtime the day after an elimination. Well, that's it for this podcast. For all the latest news podcasts, streaming info guides and ratings, head to tvcentral.com.au. Until next time, I'm Aaron Ryan. Thanks to Stevie. Bye for now.